right, here you all. We are back with another Conversations with Ma. Obviously, I'm Justin. This is my mom, Mrs. Harbison. What do you want to...
Paulette Diane Harbison.
Okay. Yeah, that. Okay. So, we're here today. Today's going to be, a pretty, informal episode. We're going to talk about the cost of living in comparison to where we are now and to when my mother bought a home, but also when I was a child, and just talk about it, have a fun conversation, but also a truthful conversation about how things are different, things are more expensive now, and essentially how we can make it through. So, Mom, when you all bought your home, what's the estimated cost when you bought the home back at home in Jackson?
Okay, the estimated home, the first home that we bought was like $30,000.
Oh wow! How many bedrooms and bathrooms?
Okay, 2 baths, 2 full baths.
Okay.
3 bedrooms.
Okay.
And living room.
Okay.
And a kitchen.
Okay.
Actually, it had 2 kitchens. We were gonna renovate another kitchen because we bought a duplex a house that had been converted into a duplex.
Oh, okay.
But we didn't live there long because that house. It burned on us when you were about 10 months old. Yep. So then we bought a house down the street from us, and we got that for like $15,000 because this guy was trying to get rid of it.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, that's what we paid, and that's where we stayed. We renovated on that house and stayed in that house for 31 years.
Yeah, and that house had 3 bedrooms, right? 3 bedrooms,
3 bedrooms, sunroom, living room, dining room,
and then a master suite.
Master suite.
Room, yeah.
Yeah.
So it was a nice size house for $15,000. I got it, but the house was old though.
1900.
It was built in 1900, so the house was over 100 years old. Growing up, we had to do a lot of work to it though, especially when it came to plumbing, electrical work, siding, different things like that. But
doors.
Doors. But it was a stable house, like it was a sturdy home. But now, houses like that probably sell for $300,000.
At least
minimum. So it's just interesting. We're doing this activity too with my grandma and my wife, where we're looking at because it's like it's a book, a generational book for like the mothers to fill out or the women in your life to fill out, just to pass down those stories. And it was interesting because when I looking at when my grandmother was growing up, I think a house during her time period was like $6,000 or $7,000 for a home, and then when my mother was able to buy a home, it was around like $15,000 or $30,000. But then you shift now that I'm a homeowner, it's way up. The average house is probably $250,000 and up. So it's just interesting to see that. What are some other things that were cheaper then that are expensive now?
Of course, the gas was cheaper. I can't even recall having a gas issue. You just put gas in the car. I've never paid no attention to having a gas problem.
True. That's a good point.
Really, wasn't major talking about food insecurities. We didn't have food insecurities. Basically, we had enough food to feed everybody and ourselves. So we always had a supply of food. Even coming up, I had a supply of food. But what my daddy did to feed all of us, there was 4 of us plus them, he fished, hunt, whatever. I ate a lot of wild game food coming up. So, and they also did garden. So again, never food insecurities. It was always food. I can't imagine what kids are going through now because I never did have to go through any of that, and thank God JD didn't have to either.
We also knew a lot of people back at home, like she said, they would hunt, fish, and we went fishing a lot. I never went hunting, but we knew people that did, so we would like deer meat, and then hunting. Like I said, my uncle got me into that, Uncle Bebe, and fishing for catfish, brim, bass, just catch. So now, at a young age, I learned how to cook and clean fish, and so now I'm able to pass that down too. So I know that just a segue, but even doing little things like she said, gas. I mean, to fill up your average sedan now could cost you between $40 to $50 depending on the vehicle, and that's wild because cost of living in terms of buying a home is going up, which means mortgages is going up, gas is going up, food has gone up. And it's unique, right? Sometimes I would try to justify it and be like, well, things go up because wherever these companies are, the income has to cover the employees. So an example is like if you say in an apartment, for instance, where your rent goes up because the people in the office and the maintenance, they want a raise in their pay. Well, they can't just pull that out of anywhere, but their cost of living has to be adjusted to the cost of living in the area. But then your rent goes up because there's an adjustment to their cost of living, and also the insurance on the property could go up too. So all those things are going up, which causes the consumer to have to pay a higher cost to cover the underlying costs. And it sucks because, you know, me and Tisha was talking, there's no such thing as the market. The market is controlled by billionaires and millionaires who have the ability to say, hey, we can charge this much for this amount because we know people will buy it. And I think that has changed more since you were growing up and
Everything
where we
has
are
changed
now.
more.
So, yeah.
It was more friendlier.
That's true.
When we were little, people was friendlier. It was like when I was small, forget it wasn't credit cards, but okay, if this is, say for instance, my daddy want to go on a trip. A lot of times, my daddy, our trips was up north because he had sisters and cousins and things that lived up north. Well, it wasn't, I'm going to get my credit card. I just go down to the little service station, tell them to fill up my car, get 4 tires, charge it, add it to my bill, and I will pay on it when I get paid, when I get back. And that was it. It was honesty and trust back then. People, and the people that you got it from, they wasn't no richer than you were, really. Everybody was about in the same shoes, but it was a trust issue. We really trusted each other, and people did what they said they won't do. If they said it was coming back and paying you, they went back and paid. Same way with the groceries. I can remember my grandmother doing phone calls and said, you know, bring me, give them the grocery list. He brought the groceries down here. How you want to pay it, Clara? I want to pay it on my ticket. He wrote it down. She went up when she got her Social Security or whatever and paid it off. That's how it was done. No, there was mom and pop shops. And that's how we made it back then. You know, of course, when I got old and JD got older, well, didn't come the charge card. And then it's like people didn't know what to do with the charge card. That's when you start getting into the debt. That's when you didn't understand what you were doing. You didn't understand the interest rates. And before you know it, oh, Lord, have mercy, I'm in debt and I got to get out. See, our generation was beginning of all of that. Beginning in debt. And now debt has been passed on and passed on and passed on. Well, you know, the cost. Is you're getting in debt, and then now your the cost of living is up, but the wages hadn't come up, and that's where the problems are now. They're not matching. Back in the day, when everybody was trying to just make it, and everybody had a good life for each other, you know, everything stayed down lower. But then, of course, you know, greediness came in, and there it went. You know, people saw, okay, we can charge these people whatever we want to, and they crazy because they want stuff. You know, each generation want more than the other generation have. They want this and they want that. And they was buying on credit. Oops, I'm in debt.
So credit cards didn't really take off for you until around what age?
Tell you the truth, I didn't get credit card until I got married. They may have had some earlier, I don't know, but you
it
know,
wasn't as big.
27, no.
So how did you all build credit? Was it like buying vehicle? Like how did you build credit if credit
Well,
cards?
when you first started back in the good old days, they just kind of went on your honesty and your paycheck. You got paid, you on a job, you been on a job for a while, then you could pay. So credit came easy to you back then. And then getting stuff came easy until the interest rates and everything started going up and you couldn't afford to pay. And then you got yourself all caught up in some stuff and you tried to pay it down. So that's how our generation got caught up in that.
Okay. Well, y'all, there you have it. This was just going to be a short video about the comparison. You know, the average car now. I'll say the average car payment, because the car itself might be around like 24 to 30,000, but the payment itself could range between $400 and $500 a month, and that's the average amount to buy a vehicle now. And the interest rates are wild on vehicles as well. But rent is obviously the place. When I first came up here, well, when I graduated from Hampton, I stayed in apartments in Merrimack, and really nice spot, but the same place that I stayed in, that was like at that time, it was 10 years ago, like $725, is now, I looked, when I look for somebody to look for an apartment, it's like $1150.
And that's hard on college budget.
And it's hard on college. You know, so college tuition keeps going up. You know, just everything. But it's just an idea. You know, kind of try to manage your money. You know, enjoy yourself. But it's one of those things where to stress about it doesn't help you. You just kind of make better decisions as best that you can, because it's hard. You have to kind of cut back on something else to gain somewhere else, and that's just kind of how it is now. It sucks, especially you go to school, you get a degree. Even if you don't have a degree, you work a trade, you work at factories, wherever you work, and you're still trying to figure out how to make ends meet, because while you feel like you're making pretty good money, everything goes up around you. So you got to stay positive around the right people and schedule fun. That's something I learned. Schedule fun and budget fun.
And fun does not have to be expensive.
It doesn't have to be expensive. Budget, you know, hang out with people. If you're an introvert, rent a movie instead of going to the movies, you know, or plan to go see a movie. Like, plan it out. That's what I've, you know, been doing.
Oh, picnic baskets. Go to the park.
Go for a walk. Little things like that. But anyway, y'all could post in the comments things that were cheaper, even just 15, 20 years ago. Even we talk about fast food. Fast food was cheaper. McDonald's and Wendy's was going head to head back in the day. And it was Popeyes and KFC, which they kind of are, but I mean, just the cost of it, man. And then fast food don't even taste the same like it used to.
No, it doesn't.
So that's a whole nother thing again. But just put in the comments what you all have experienced over these past 20 years, the difference that your parents have seen or that you've seen, and just get back to us. All right, so thank you for joining us on this episode of Harvest and Coaching, Conversations with Ma. We'll see you next time.
Bye-bye. We're done.